What's up, guys? Trey Triple here, and today I want to go over my own Fundrise portfolio. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what Fundrise is, I'm just gonna give like a very brief, simple overview of what Fundrise is. So Fundrise is a real estate investment company. It's an online investment company. So what it does is it allows small time retail investors like myself and yourself to put some money into real estate, which they then develop, rent, and sell for a profit. So what happens is real estate is really becoming really expensive in the United States, and people cannot afford to buy their own house, and even less they can afford to buy a real estate that they can then fix up, or that they can then rent and make money that way. So what this company does is it takes the money that we as investors put into it. So let's say I put in $10,000, you put in $5,000, and someone else puts $20,000, and what they do is they take all this money, they put it into, let's call it one pile, and then they're using that money, they buy real estate, maybe these big rental complexes that you see just popping out everywhere. And then they either rent them or and then also they make money through appreciation. So over time the price of real estate goes up, and at a point where they sell it, and then they distribute all these profits as dividends. So that's all it does. It's a crowdfunding platform. So it takes the money that we all, a little bit of money that each one of us puts into it, and then they put it together, make a purchase, renovate the place, rent the place, and then we get dividends. In Fundrise, you actually get some dividends. You get daily, right? So usually you get like $1 or $2 a day if you have like $20,000 invested into it, and then you also get a big chunk of your money quarterly. So 4 times a year you get this big chunk of money, which is a return on your investment, and then every day you get a little bit as well. So it's actually a pretty good platform. I know there's a lot of skeptics out there saying there's certain catches to it, and sure, right, just like any real estate investment, Fundrise, just like any real estate investment, it's a long-term investment. So if you're looking to get like a 50% return in like 3 days or something like this, these crazy returns, this is not a platform for you. This is a type of platform that low time preference people want, and then they use it because all you do is you put money in there and then you forget about it. You don't touch it, you just leave it there. Okay, you just leave it there and you watch it grow over a 5-year, 10-year period, 15, 20 years, or whenever you finally decide to cash out. So it's a long-term investment, and it's a good long-term investment. Let me tell you, as you could see, I'm going to show you my portfolio. You're going to see why it is such a good investment, because let me tell you, I spent 0 seconds, minutes, or hours looking at charts, studying what their eReits are, and whatnot. I literally just put every month, I put $500, and then whenever I get this extra money somewhere that I saved up, I put in like a big chunk. And and it's, in this case, it's as whenever you're picking your own stocks or whatever you're picking your own company stocks, trades, you gotta spend time looking at charts, you gotta spend time looking at prices, you gotta try to time it. Fundrise, you don't time it at any point. You put some money in, you're gonna be sure you're gonna get some sort of dividend in upcoming months and years. So let me go over the story here. So you see historical value here. So let me tell you, over here it says 2019, but I literally, my first $1,000 deposited was on December 30th, 2019. So it's actually one day before 2020 started. So we're just gonna assume here that I started investing in 2020. Now, like, guys, remember that 2020 was a tough year. There was and there still is a COVID pandemic happening. So right when I started investing in this platform, they actually had to halt any dividends and payouts because everything came to the halt. Now, let me reiterate that I did not lose any money. If you were in the stock market during the February, March, April, May of 2020, you probably lost 20, 30, 40, and in some cases 50, 60% of your portfolio. In Fundrise, it did not go up, but it also did not go down, which is a super cool thing, because it is recession resistant, which is good to hear, because I was really worried. I was wondering. I know I only had maybe like $2,500 to $2,500 invested, but I wanted to see what would happen, and that was a good test, I mean, I only have a very small amount of money invested. I want to see how it's going to react to a recession. Now, Fundrise reacted beautifully. The one thing that some people are critiquing is that they actually halted all withdrawals of any money, I believe starting like March 14th, 2020, because of the recession. And some people say, hey, I want my money. Why don't you give me my money? But the problem is the real estate is an illiquid investment. So you got to think of it as you literally owning a place somewhere and renting it, right? You cannot just, let's say there was a stock market crash or another pandemic, you cannot just go there and sell it in one day. So you cannot expect this from a Fundrise. From this Fundrise company as well, because it is real estate. They cannot just go out and sell a 1,000 unit rental complex in a day and give you the money. So what they did is actually they halted all withdrawals, but it was only for 60 days. So I couldn't withdraw my money. I didn't try, but they sent a nice letter explaining everything, is that they're holding all withdrawals in order not to sell at a loss. What happens to a lot of people is that in the stock market is that whenever things start selling off, they get nervous and they get scared of losing money. So they sell when the stock market is low and they lose money. As you can see with the pandemic that happened in 2020, if you were just to hold through that initial one to 2 month dip in any stocks in the stock market, you'd still be making money right now. So Fundrise technically forced it upon their investors not to sell at a loss. Not to sell at a loss and just hold through the tough times, because the rewards would to come. And I understand there's some people that were caught in these circumstances where they really needed the money. Maybe they had some money, they lost their job or something, and they needed the money in the Fundrise. That they invested in Fundrise. However, I always say, only invest the money that you could afford to lose. Only invest the money that you can afford to lose. Only invest the money that you can afford to lose, so things like this don't happen. So, me personally, really like what Fundrise did. They did not let people sell at a loss. If they were forced to sell at a loss, there would be no company. And as you could see, once they were so there was only 60 days. Like most other stocks, it took them much longer than 60 days to recover. Fundrise and their real estate investments, 60 days later, I started getting the daily dividends again. And in the end of the year, I think even with the recession and with everything, I made a decent 6% return on my money. All right, guys. So that's enough about the Fundrise and how it works and what it does. Let's talk about my portfolio, right? So I'm just gonna say that I started in the beginning of 2020. So we had the whole 2020 and we had 8 months of 2021 to check out what type of returns they do offer. Now, when I did invest in this company, I knew it was gonna be between like 7% and 12%. Things like this don't go like 100 and 1,000%, like Tesla and stuff like that. This is something that I put in. I forget about it, I don't worry. That's the type of trader and an investor I am. I'm not a day trader because it's just too time consuming. I'm a swing trader. I set up, if you guys want to see my Southwest Airlines trade that I'm currently in, just check out my investment playlist on YouTube, and you can check out that. That's an amazing trade with a possible, I think, 30.24% return on your investments in like 3 months. So let's get back to Fundrise here. I started in 2020. I'm investing about $500 a month. Then when I get a good chunk, like over here in September 10th, I invested another 5,000. You could see this little pop here. You see September 16th to 17th, the change is $5,000. So I had some extra change, extra money laying around, and so I invested it. Then again, it was 500. 500 a month, blah 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 blah. And until recently, on about May 10th 2021, I put in a decent 20, wait, what, 40? No, I put 24. It went from 16 to 40 at 24, and then I put in another 10. So I put an extra $25,000 recently. So when you look at the returns, remember, this is dollar cost averaging. So you cannot say that in the beginning of the year I had this much, now I have this much, and the difference is the percent of return on your money. Because you're dollar cost averaging, it's much harder to calculate an actual return for 1 year. What you have to use is you have to use year-to-date metric to do that. So anyway, currently I have $52,281 in Fundrise investment platform, 49.5 of which is my money. So there's about $2,750 in returns in about a year and 8 months, which is an amazing thing, considering that during the pandemic there were no returns and there was no dividends for about 2 months. As you could see, 2021 is year to date, and then over here we have all time. So dividends is how much they pay you daily. So literally in Fundrise, what happens is that every day you log in, they will give you a little amount of a dividend, right? So you will see like plus $1, plus $2, plus something like that a day. So that could add up to over $50, $60 a month in dividends. And then total of appreciation is about 2,407 all time, which is 2 years, which is about. Now, Fundrise does have advisory fees. It does have advisory fees. However, if you refer friends, which what I've been doing, they give you about 270 days without advisory fees for each person that you recruit. So if you want my link, I would greatly appreciate it. Just leave a comment down below, and I will hook you up with your link, and you will also get about, I think, 90 days or something like that without without advisory fees. Now, my account level is advanced because I have over $10,000 invested. An investment plan is long-term growth plus. Now, something like this is a 10-year minimum plan. So in the beginning, it starts off slow, and then it just starts flying to the moon, baby, flying to the moon, man. On year 5 to 10, I'm looking for some good results out of this. And over here it actually says net returns to date, 2,781, which is really good in 2 years, you know. So let's go over my general performance, which is, you know, what we want to look at. I'm not gonna go into all the details for these different eReits. So these are pretty much the real estate investment trusts. So they have different portfolios. So whenever you put a certain amount of money into Fundrise, they will allocate it to all these different things. And you know, the whole point of this is I don't need to go and research what the heck is going on and what is this and what is that. They do give you these really nice updates. If you go back to the overview page, you could see these new acquisition, whatever they buy, what they're planning to do. So you can always look at what you're investing in, but you don't always have to, because that is why you have a little bit of advisory fees, you know. So let's get back to the performance here. Now, these are year-to-date returns, so which is from exactly 1 year ago today. So this is quarters. You know, this metric here. It's you know, it's not. I don't look at this as much. In terms of returns, I like to look at total returns, which is a little bit below. We can look at that, but as you can see over here, for each one these eReits, it's either operating, stabilizing, or ramping up. Now, your investments, the ones that are ramping up, are not yet returning as much as as eReits that are already operating. What means they're operating? That means they bought, they build, and they rented, or they bought, they built, and they sold. Something that's stabilizing, that means it's bought, it's built, but it's not fully rented, or it's it's, you know, they're still trying to fill the place up with people and try to get rental income, or you know, or they're in the process of selling it. So that's what it is. And ramping up, that means they're still they're building it, you know, they're still building it. So you know, over time, you know, something that was ramping up is gonna go into stabilizing, and it's gonna keep going. So you're gonna have this continual profit. Okay. Now let's go to this. Now this is the tab that's obviously the most interesting tab here, is this annual returns, right? Now, because everybody wants to know how much money or how much percentage will I get per year, all right? Now 2019, even though they weighted it in, right, like all time, they took an average of this. This was 2 days. Okay, so what we're looking for is the 2020 and the 2021 percentages. And as you could see, now I could zoom out, but this means like absolutely, it just tells you different eReits and how much return they do. So that's not really that important, right? So what we do is we just minimize it and we look at these numbers, because that's all we really need to know to see how good this is. Now guys, remember, this is zero work, zero stress, sleep good at night, you put your money in and you go to sleep, you go to work, and you make money just by investing into this. So you see, in 2020, the toughest year in the past, I don't know, 10 years or so, and we still did a solid 10% return. Now that's with everything shutting down. They couldn't rent their apartments because they couldn't show their apartments. People are scared to come out and look at the apartments. 10%. And so far, in 2021, in 8 months, 9%. And we still have 4 more months left. So I'm looking, 2021 is going to be an amazing, I'm assuming 11%, honestly. That's what I'm assuming, a solid 11%. I'm hoping I will do an update on this. You can see my account value right here. You can see my account value going up. I want to get my Fundrise portfolio to 100K. I don't know if I can do it by the end of 2021, because I'm gonna have a few expenses coming up in the next 4 months. But definitely by this time next year, it's gonna be at 100K one way or another, baby. So let's scroll down here. So you know, yeah. So once again, here we go. We have a 2020 and 2021 year to date, and then the all-time net returns and net cash in and out. So this actually tells you how much money you put in and how much money you got returned. So we're gonna again ignore 2019 because that was 2 days. So let's look at 2020. I put in a total of $12,500. And the return through that crazy pandemic was $511. Not bad. 2021, I put in $36 more $1,000, and so far the return has been $2,267. Now that's 2 more quarters of appreciation and dividends to be paid, so you can imagine how good it was. Now remember, guys, this is all dollar cost averaging, so you cannot say, hey, you put in 49.5 and the return was 27.81, because that will give you about a 6% return. But remember, these 50 I didn't put in all at the same time. If I did put it all at the same time, then you could do that math. This when you dollar cost averaging stuff in, it's a little bit different, because for the first 6 months of 2021, I was earning on less money than I am now. So you cannot really do the math here. Now let me see if I can find something here. All right, now this is the exciting thing. So Fundrise is not a public company, right? It's a private company. It's not traded on the stock market. So what Fundrise decided to do is do something called the Fundrise IPO. Now I know what you're thinking. It's Fundrise initial public offering. It's like all those public companies, all those companies that are going public, they do an IPO. Now Fundrise is doing something different. IPO actually stands for Internet Public Offering, I believe. So what they do is they actually offer you to buy certain amount of shares based on your portfolio value at that time. Now I bought mine in 2020 based on my portfolio wasn't that high, so they only let me buy about $2,000 worth or their shares, which I wish at this point it was more. But what they do is they offer you shares of the company, and they say this is how much it costs, and if you want to, you buy it, and if you don't, you don't buy it, right? Now, like you saying, why would you do that? It's a private company. These shares you cannot sell them. No, I cannot. But Fundrise may go public at one point in time. You know, it could be 5 years, 10 years, 3 years, 15 years. But when they do go public, you could sell those shares and make a very large profit. Now let me show you here, because over here you see I only got $2,000 worth of the worth of Fundrise shares. So what we're gonna do is you click see note, and as you say when so I bought this in 2020, and as you can see I paid $2,008, right? And they offered me at a certain price. Now as you could see, when I got this, I believe this is maybe like a couple of weeks ago in 2021. The most latest share price is $10.90. So as you can see, the $2,008 from about, I would say maybe 14 to 16 months ago, now is worth $2,400. That's about a 20% return, maybe 22% return on your money in just 14 months. And if it goes public, you know how things pump and how much the price increases when companies go public. So high hopes for this. This is another way. That you can make money and set yourself up for future success by investing in Fundrise. Now, here comes a big problem, and what everybody was wondering about is, well, the minimum amount of money required to invest in Fundrise was, I believe it was $500 to start. But what they just did about a month ago is that they made the minimum amount of money to open a Fundrise account just $10, guys. Just $10. That means anyone, if you have $10, your returns per year might be $2, $1, whatever it is. But you gotta start somewhere. They created a whole new portfolio. It's called a starter portfolio. I have, like, if you can see here in the overview, my account level is advanced. What they have now is something called a starter account level, which lets you invest with just $10, and that is a great way to get people into Fundrise, into their platform. And you know, when people put $10, if let's say 1 million people put $10, that's 10 million, dude. You know, they can buy a huge rental property from that. So guys, I highly recommend that you, if you're not sure about this platform and you don't want to put a lot of money in, just start with $10. Keep it at $10 and then put in $10 every month and keep it for a year. See where your returns go. Keep it for a year and see it, because I guarantee you that once you see how little you have to pay attention to your portfolio and to your investments and how much return you get, you will start adding $50 a month, then you'll start adding $70 a month, then you'll start adding like $80, $100, $1,500, and you're gonna know then as little as 10 years to 15 years, you're gonna have a good solid chunk of money in there, guys. Now guys, remember, everything that you see in this video is not a financial advice. This is for entertainment and information purposes only. Please do your own research before you make any investments, and only invest the money that you could afford to lose completely and still be okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. My channel is not only about investing, my channel is about all the hobbies that I do in my free time. It could be gaming, streaming, it could be lawn mowing, and you know, investing. And man, I have a dog. I'm gonna make a couple of videos with that as well. So thank you so much, guys. Click that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. If you want my link so you could get 90 days free without commission, advisory fees, commission fees, they're very small to begin with, but if you want to even, you know, get, you know, not get any fees, then just, you know, leave a link down below. I'll give you mine. I get 270 days because I have an advanced account level. You'll get 90 days. And you know, start your journey, man. Set yourself up to date, so in 20 years you don't need to worry about the social security paycheck and being able to rent and buy food. Okay, all right, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.